Hey everyone, welcome to your Algo Lab. In today's session, you'll get a quick recap of the earnings releases of companies around the globe. Without further ado, let's get started. Let's start by examining global indices. We present the number of constituent companies that have already reported their earnings. The earnings surprise, which is the difference between a company's reported earnings and the expected earnings. Earnings growth, which refers to the year-over-year change in earnings per share. And earnings guidance, which is an estimate provided by a company's management regarding its expected future earnings. Here, we observe that US and Canadian companies continue to deliver positive earnings surprises and earnings growth. The Q3 guidance for S&P 500 companies is also positive. Small cap companies, represented by the Russell 2000, show negative guidance for Q3, but are expected to turn positive from Q4 onwards. European companies are still facing challenges with profitability, showing only marginal earnings growth, and their guidance remains nearly flat. Asian companies, particularly those in Japan and Australia, are experiencing relatively strong earnings growth. According to FactSet, an analysis of transcripts from all S&P 500 companies' earnings calls reveals that recession was mentioned 28 times. This is significantly lower than the 5-year average of 83 mentions and the 10-year average of 60. In fact, this quarter records the second lowest number of mentions of recession on earnings calls since Q4 2021. FactSet also reports a significant increase in the number of S&P 500 companies mentioning election compared to 2020. The financials and industrial sectors have seen the largest rise in companies discussing election or elections during their Q2 2024 earnings calls compared to Q2 2020. The government policy most frequently cited by S&P 500 companies in relation to the election was energy and carbon emissions, including renewables and electric vehicles. Turning to S&P 500 sectors, we see that consumer discretionary, healthcare, financials, information technology, and utilities are leading in both earnings growth and earnings guidance. Here, we present the S&P 500 along with its earnings growth in a histogram. The earnings growth is calculated based on the weighted contribution of companies reporting each month. We can observe that the current earnings growth rate may face challenges due to the increased base level. Companies might encounter difficulties if they fail to meet these elevated targets. Turning to the S&P Europe 350, European companies are facing difficulties in growing their earnings, as reflected in the underperformance of their share prices. On this channel, we share tested strategies for investing and trading, covering everything from technical analysis and fundamentals to economic trends and sentiment-based algorithms. If you don't want to miss out on any of our content, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay in the loop. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.